Tonight, let us leave behind the noise of the present. Let us drift, slowly, into another time, another place, a modest brick house on a quiet street in North London, number 284, Green Street. It is the late 1970s. The wallpaper is faded, the air heavy with smoke from coal fires. Children laugh in the distance, buses rattle by. And inside this house, a family lives an ordinary life, or at least, they try to. For within these walls, something stirs, something that will make headlines, something that will terrify a family, divide researchers, and capture imaginations for decades to come. This is the story of the Enfield poltergeist, and tonight, we will walk slowly through it, step by step, until the silence of sleep takes us. Imagine you are a child again. The house is small, cramped, the kind of place where every sound echoes. You share a bedroom with your siblings. The wallpaper peels a little. The floor creaks with every step. It is night. The wind rattles the windows. The room smells faintly of damp clothes drying on the radiator. You are half asleep when knock, knock, knock. At first you think it is your brother, but he is asleep. Then you think it must be the pipes, but the sound comes again. Knock, knock. From inside the wall, the beds begin to shake. A chest of drawers slides forward, inch by inch, across the carpet. You whisper for your mother. She comes running. She pushes against the heavy drawers, but it keeps moving. She cannot hold it back. The air feels different now. Heavy, thick, like someone else is in the room. Nights blur into days. Voices are heard low, growling, not belonging to anyone in the house. Toys fly across the room. The children are lifted, as if tossed by unseen hands. The ordinary house on Green Street is no longer safe. It is something else, a stage for the unknown. At the center of it all was Janet, 11 years old, thin, with long dark hair and sharp eyes. She never asked for this, but soon, she became the focus. She would speak in voices that were not her own, deep gravelly tones of a man long dead. The voice called itself Bill. It told stories of how it had died in the very same house in a chair, in the living room, years before the Hodgsons moved in. Janet did not remember speaking these words, but the tapes prove it. Hour after hour of recordings, with investigators listening, astonished, as this child became the vessel for something else. Her sister Margaret suffered too, and her mother, Peggy, tried desperately to keep the family together. She called police, neighbors, priests, anyone who might help, and all of them witnessed something. Even the policewoman reported it. A chair sliding across the floor, moving on its own. The investigators who stayed the longest were Maurice Grass and Guy Lyon Playfair, members of the Society for Psychical Research. They lived with the family for months. They saw marbles thrown across rooms, but never bouncing landing, as if dropped by invisible fingers. They watched curtains twist and knot themselves. They listened, as the strange voice answered questions, sometimes mocking, sometimes oddly truthful. The press descended on the house. Headlines screamed of a haunted family. Photographers set up cameras. Some claimed to catch Janet levitating, her body flung from her bed, suspended in mid-air. Skeptics said she was only jumping. Believers swore it was real, and all the while, the Hodgsons tried simply to live, to sleep, to eat, to feel safe. By 1979, the worst of the haunting seemed to fade. The voices grew weaker. The furniture stopped moving, and at last, the house grew quiet again. But the silence was not peace. For the Hodgson family, the scars remained. Janet left home as a teenager. She tried to live a normal life, but interviews years later revealed that she never truly escaped. She admitted, "Strange things still happen to me, even now." Neighbors never forgot either. Green Street became infamous. Visitors would stop, pointing to the modest brick house, the house where voices spoke and children flew. The researchers, too, carried the case with them. Maurice Grass called it one of the most profound experiences of his life. Guy Playfair defended its authenticity until his death. Skeptics continued to argue, calling it an elaborate hoax, but the truth, it lingered in between. For in the end, the haunting of Enfield was not just about proof, it was about fear and survival, and how an ordinary family, in an ordinary house, became the stage for something extraordinary. Even today, decades later, the story endures. Books have been written, films made. The Conjuring 2 turned it into a spectacle. But behind all the dramatization, the core remains. A mother, her children, and the darkness that invaded their home. And now, the story drifts into silence. The voices grow quiet. The walls are still. The house on Green Street is just a house again. You have walked with the Hodgsons, heard the whispers, felt the fear, and seen how history can be haunted, not only by ghosts, but by memory. So as you close your eyes tonight, remember, the past is never truly gone. It lingers, in stories, in questions, in the spaces between heartbeats and dreams. You are safe, you are warm, and sleep is waiting. Good night.